And can you, by no drift of circumstance, get from him why he puts on this confusion, grating so harshly all his days of quiet with turbulent and dangerous lunacy?
He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause he will by no means speak.
Now do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof, when we would bring him on to some confession of his true state?
Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman.
But with much forcing of his disposition.
Niggard of question, but of our demands most free in his reply.
Did you essay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out that certain players we all wrought on the way, of these we told him, and that it's given him a kind of joy to hear of it. They are about the court, and as I think they have already ordered this night to play before him.
It is most true, and he beseeches me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter.
With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge, and drive his purpose on to these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us too. For we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may hear affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful espials, will so bestow ourselves, that seeing unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, and gather by him as he is behaved, if it be the affliction of his love or no, that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honours.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Read on this book. The show of such an exercise may colour your lowliness. We are oft to blame in this. 'Tis too much proved that with devotion's visage and pious action, we do sugar o'er the devil himself.
Oh, 'tis too true. How smart a lash that speech doth give my conscience. The harlot's cheek, beautied with plastering art, is not more ugly to the thing that helps it, than is my deed to my most painted word. Oh, heavy burden.
I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep, no more. And by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country, from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have, than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with this regard their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia. Nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord, how does your honour for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well, well, well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed long to redeliver. I pray you now, receive them.
No, I never gave you aught.
My honoured lord, I know right well you did. And with them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich. Their perfume left, take these again. For to the noble mind, rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Huh? Ah? Are you honest?
My lord.
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly. For the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me, for virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent, honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offences at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do? Crawling between heaven and earth, we are arrant knaves, all believe, none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where is your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell.
Oh, help him, you sweet heavens.
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery, go, farewell. Or if thou wilt needs marry a fool, for wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery go, and quickly too. Farewell!
Oh, heavenly powers, restore him.
I've heard of your paintings too well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp. You nickname God's creatures, and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to her no more on. It hath made me mad. I say there will be no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one, shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery, go!
Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword. The expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and the mould of form, the observed of all observers, quite down. And I of ladies most dejected and wretched, that suck the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason like sweet bells jangled out of tune and harsh, that unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me! To have seen what I have seen. See what I see.
Love? His affections do not that way tend, nor what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in his soul, o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger, which for to prevent, I having quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed to England for the demand of our neglected tribute. Haply the seas and countries different, with variable objects, shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brain still beating puts him thus from fashion of himself. What think you on't?
It shall do well. But yet I do believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please. But if you hold it fit, After the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all their conference. If she find him not, to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of your players do, I had as lief the town crier had spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air too much with your hand thus, but use all gently. For in the very torrent, tempest, and as I may say, whirlwind of passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the soul to hear a robustious, periwig-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who for the most part are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for all doing termagant, without Herod's Herod. Pray you avoid it.
I warrant, your honour.
Be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, with this special observance, that you o'erstep not the modesty of nature, for anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is to hold, as 'twere, the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time his form and pressure. Now this overdone, or come tardy off, though it make the unskilful laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve, the censure of the which one must in your allowance outweigh a whole theatre of others. Oh, there be players that I have heard play, and heard others praise, and that highly, not to speak it profanely, that neither having the accent of Christians, nor the gait of Christian pagan nor man, have so strutted and bellowed that I have thought some of nature's journeymen had made men, and not made them well, they imitated humanity so abominably.
I hope we have reformed that indifferently with us.
Oh, reform it altogether. And let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them. For there be of them that'll make themselves laugh, to set on some quantity of barren spectators to laugh too, though in the meantime some necessary question of the play be then to be considered. That's villainous, and shows a most pitiful ambition in the fool that uses it. Go make you ready.
My lord.
How now, my lord, will the king hear this piece of work?
And the queen too, and that's presently.
Let the players make haste. Will you two help to hasten them?
We will, my lord.
What ho? Horatio.
Here, sweet lord, at your service.
Horatio, thou art e'en as just a man as e'er my conversation coped withal.
Oh, my dear lord.
I do not think I flatter. For what advancement may I hope from thee, that no revenue hast but thy good spirits to feed and clothe thee? Why should the poor be flattered? No. Let the candid tongue lick absurd pomp, and crook the pregnant hinges of the knee, where thrift may follow, fawning. Dost thou hear? Since my dear soul was mistress of my choice, and could of men distinguish, her election hath sealed thee for herself. For thou hast been as one in suffering all that suffers nothing. A man that fortune's buffets and rewards hath ta'en with equal thanks. And blessed are those whose blood and judgment are so well commingled that they are not a pipe for fortune's finger to sound what stop she please. Give me that man that is not passion's slave, and I will wear him in my heart's core, I in my heart of heart, as I do thee. Something too much of this. There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I pray thee, when thou seest that act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul, observe mine uncle. If his occulted guilt do not itself unkennel in one speech, it is a damned ghost that we have seen, and my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stithy. Give him heedful note, for I mine eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join to censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord, if he steal aught the whilst this play is playing and escape detecting, I will pay the theft.
They are coming to the play.
I must be idle. Get you a place.
How fares our cousin Hamlet?
Excellent. The faith of the chameleon's dish, I eat the air, promise crammed. You cannot feed capon so.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
No, not mine now. My lord, you played once in the university, you say?
That I did, my lord, and was accounted a good actor.
What did you enact?
I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
It was a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there. Be the players ready? Aye, my lord, they stay upon your patience.
Come hither, my good Hamlet. Sit by me.
No, good mother. Here's metal more attractive.
You mark that.
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
I mean my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Do you think I meant country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
That's a fair thought to lie between maids' legs.
What is, my lord?
Nothing.
You are merry, my
Oh,
lord.
I?
Aye, my lord.
Oh, God, you're only a jig maker. What should a man do but be merry? Oh, look you how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within 2 hours.
Nay, it is twice 2 months, my lord.
So long? Nay, then let the devil wear black, for I'll have a suit of sables. Oh, heavens! Died 2 months ago, and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope a great man's memory may outlive his life half a year. But by Our Lady, he must build churches then, or else he shall suffer not thinking on. With the hobby horse, whose epitaph is for oh, the hobby horse is forgot. This is Mitchy Malacho. It means mischief.
Belike the show imports the argument of the play.
We shall know by these fellows. The players cannot keep counsel. They'll tell all.
Will he tell us what the show meant?
Aye, or any show that you'll show. Be not you ashamed to show. He'll not ashamed to tell you what it means.
You are naught, you are naught. I'll mark the play.
For us and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
Is this a prologue? Or the posy of a ring?
'Tis brief, my lord.
As woman's love.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus' cart gone round Neptune's salt wash and Tellus' orbed ground, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen about the world hath times 12 30s been, since love our hearts and hymen in our hands unite commutual in most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count o'er ere love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state, that I distrust you. Yet though I discomfort you, my lord, it nothing must. For women's fear and love holds quantity in neither aught or in extremity. Now what my love is, proof hath made you know, and as my love is sized, my fear is so. Where love is great, the littlest doubts are feared. Where little fears grow great, great love grows there.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers their functions leave to do. And thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and haply one as kind for husband shalt thou.
Oh, confound the rest. Such love must needs be treason in my breast. In second husband let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first.
Wormwood, wormwood.
The instances that second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine oft we break. Purpose is but the slave to memory of violent birth, but poor validity, which now like fruit unripe sticks on the tree, but fall unshaken when they mellow be. Most necessary 'tis that we forget to pay ourselves what to ourselves is debt. What to ourselves in passion we propose, the passion ending, doth the purpose lose. the violence of either grief or joy, their own enactures with themselves destroy. Where joy most rebels, grief doth most lament. Grief joys, joy grieves on slender accident. This world is not for aye, nor 'tis not strange that even our love should with our fortunes change. For 'tis a question left us yet to prove, whether love lead fortune, or else fortune love. The great man down, you mark his favourite flies. The poor advanced makes friends of enemies, and hitherto doth love on fortune tend. For who not needs shall never lack a friend, and who in want a hollow friend doth try, directly seasons him his enemy. But orderly to end where I begun, our wills and fates do so contrary run, that our devices still are overthrown. Our thoughts are ours, their ends none of our own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth to me give food, nor heaven light. Sport and repose lock from me day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope, and anchor's cheer imprison me my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy, meet what I would have well, and it destroy. Both here and hence pursue me lasting strife. If once a widow, ever I be wife.
If she should break it now.
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while, my spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep.
Sleep, rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offence in it?
No, they do but jest. Poison in jest. No offence in the world.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. Marry, how? Tropically. The play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the Duke's name. His wife Baptista. You shall see anon. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your Majesty, and we that are free souls, it touches us not. Let the gold jade wince. Our withers are unwrung. This is one Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You are a good chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love if I could see the puppets dallying.
You are keen, my lord, you are keen.
It would cost you a groaning to take off my edge.
Do better and worse.
So you must take husbands. Begin, murderer. Fox, leave thy damnable faces and begin. Come, the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge.
Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit and time agreeing. Confederate season, else no creature seeing. Thou mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's ban, thrice blasted, thrice infected, thy natural magic and dire property on wholesome life usurp immediately.
He poisoned him in the garden for his estate. His name is Gonzago. The story is extant, origin, choice Italian. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife.
The king rises.
What frighted with false fire?
Yes, my lord.
Give all the play. Give me some light. Away!
Why let the stricken deer go weave? The heart ungalled play, for some must watch while some must sleep. So runs the world away.
Would not this, sir, and a forest of feathers? If the rest of my fortunes turn Turk with me, with 2 provincial roses on my raised shoes, get me a fellowship with a cry of players, sir?
Half a share.
Oh, one eye, for thou dost know, O Damon dear, this realm dismantled was of Jove himself, and now reigns here a very, very peacock.
You might have rhymed.
Oh, good Horatio, I'll take the ghost word for £1,000. Didst perceive?
Very well, my lord.
Upon the talk of the poisoning?
I did very well note it.
My lord? Come, some music, come the recorders, for if the king like not the comedy, why then belike he likes it not, pardie. Come, some music.
Good my lord, Vouchsafe me a word with you.
Sir, a whole history.
The king, sir.
I say, what of him?
He's in his retirement, marvellous distemper.
With drink, sir?
No, my lord, rather with choler.
Your wisdom should show itself more, Richard, to signify this to his doctor. For me to put him to his purgation would perhaps plunge him into far more choler.
Good, my lord, put your discourse into some frame and start not so wildly from my affair.
I am tame, sir. Pronounce.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, had sent me to you.
You are welcome.
Nay, good, my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased. But, sir, such answer as I can make you shall command, or rather as you say, my mother, therefore no more. But to the matter, my mother, you say...
Then thus she says, your behaviour hath struck her into amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother. But is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration?
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
We shall obey were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
So I do still by these pickers and stealers.
Good, my lord, what is the cause of your distemper? You do surely bar the door of your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
Aye, but while the grass grows, the proverb is something musty. The recorder, let me see, to withdraw with you, sir. Why do you go about to recover the wind of me as if you would drive me into a toil?
Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly.
I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe?
My lord, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
No touch of it, my lord.
'Tis as easy as lying. Govern these ventages with your finger and thumb. Give it breath with your mouth. It'll discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you now how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet cannot you make it speak? Why do you think I am easier to be played upon than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me, you cannot play upon me. God bless you, sir.
My lord, the queen would speak with you, and presently.
Do you see that cloud? That's almost in shape of a camel.
By the mess, and it's like a camel indeed.
Methinks it's like a weasel.
It is backed like a weasel.
Or like a whale.
Very like a whale.
Then I will come to my mother by and by. They fool me to the top of my bent. I will come by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. 'Tis now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now could I drink heart blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on. Soft. Now to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words somever she be shent, to give them seals, never my soul consent.
I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness range. Therefore prepare you. I your commission will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you. The terms of our estate may not endure hazard so dangerous as doth hourly grow out of his lunacies.
We will ourselves provide. Most holy and religious fear it is to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
The single and peculiar life is bound with all the strength and armour of the mind to keep itself from annoyance, but much more that spirit upon whose weal depends and rests the lives of many. The cease of majesty dies not alone, but like a gulf doth draw what's near it with it. It is a massy wheel fixed on the summit of the highest mount, to whose huge spokes 10,000 lesser things are morticed and adjoined, which when it falls, each small annexment, petty consequence, attends the boisterous ruin. Never alone did the king sigh, but with a general groan.
Arm you, I pray you, to this speedy voyage, for we will fetters put upon this fear, which now goes too free-footed.
We will haste us.
My lord, He's going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras I'll convey myself to hear the process. I'll warrant she'll tax him home. And as you said, and wisely was it said, 'tis meet that some more audience than a mother, since nature makes them partial, should o'erhear the speech of vantage. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know.
Thanks, dear my lord. Oh, my offence is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon't, a brother's murder. Pray, can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin, and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy, but to confront the visage of offence? And what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardoned being down? Then I'll look up. My fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder. That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offence? In the corrupted currents of this world, offence's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft is seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give in evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state! Oh, bosom black as death! Oh, limed soul that, struggling to be free, art more engaged! Help, angels! Make essay. Thou, stubborn knees and heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Now might I do it? Pat. Now he is praying. And now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven. And so am I revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven. For this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, as flush as May, and how his audit stands, who knows save heaven? But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul, when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Up sword, and know thou a more horrid hint. When he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at gaming, swearing, or about some act that hath no relish of salvation in't, then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
He will come straight. Look you, lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace hath screened and stood between much heat and him. I'll silence me e'en here. Pray you be round with him.
Mother.
I'll warrant you fear me not.
Mother.
Withdraw, I hear him coming.
Now, Mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
How now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then I'll set those to you that can speak.
I'll come and set you down, you shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What thou do, thou wilt not murder me. Help!
Come out, a rat, dead for a ducat, dead!
I am slain.
Oh, me. What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this.
A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, lady, 'twas my word. Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool. Farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou find'st to be too busy is some danger. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace, sit you down and let me wring your heart. For so I shall if it be made of penetrable stuff. If damned custom have not brassed it so that it be proof and bulwark against sense.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dice as oaths. Oh, such a deed as from the body of contraction plucks the very soul, and sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words. Heaven's face doth glow, yet is solidity in compound mass, with tristful visage as against the doom is thought sick at the act.
Ay me, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here, upon this picture, and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threaten or command, a station like the herald Mercury new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill, a combination and a form indeed where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor? Ah, have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? Sense sure you have, else could you not have motion. But sure that sense is apoplexed, for madness would not earn, or sense to ecstasy was ne'er so thralled, but it reserved some quantity of choice to serve in such a difference. What devil was that thus hath cozened you at hoodman blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling, sands, all. Oh, but a sickly part of one true sense could not so mope. Oh, shame, where is thy blush? Rebellious hell, if thou canst mute it in a matron's bones, to flaming youth let virtue be as wax and melt in her own fire, proclaim no shame when the compulsive ardor gives the charge, since frost itself as actively doth burn as reason panders will.
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turn'st mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their tints.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in mine ears no more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain, a slave, that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord, a vice of kings, a cutpurse of the empire and the rule, that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket.
Oh, no.
A king of shreds and patches. Save me, and hover o'er me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, he is
Do you not come your tardy son to chide, that lapsed in time and passion lets go by the important acting of your dread command? Oh, say!
Oh.
Do not forget. This visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit in weakest bodies, strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is it with you that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse? Forth at your eyes your spirits wildly peep, and as the sleeping soldiers in the alarm, your bedded hair like life in excrement start up and stand on end. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look?
On him, on him. Look you how pale he glares. His form and cause conjoined, preaching to stones would make them capable. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effects. Then what I have to do will want true colour. Tears, perchance, for blood.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all, yet all that is I see.
Nor do you nothing here?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Why, look you there, look how it steals away. My father in his habit as he lived. Look where he goes, even now, out at the portal.
This is the very coinage of your brain, this bodiless creation. Ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy? My pulse, as yours, doth temperately keep time and makes us healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reword, which madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not a flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass, but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption mining all within infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past. Avoid what is to come. And do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker. Forgive me this, my virtue. For in the fatness of these pursy times, virtue itself of vice must pardon, beg, yea, curb and woo for leave to do him good.
Oh, Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worser part of it, and live the purer with the other half. Good night, but go not to my uncle's bed. Assume a virtue, if you have it not. That monster custom, who all sense doth eat of habits evil, is angel yet in this, that to the use of actions fair and good, he likewise gives a frock or livery that aptly is put on. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, the next more easy. For use almost can change the stamp of nature, and either quell the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more, good night. And when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. For this same Lord I do repent, but heaven hath pleased it so, to punish me with this and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So, again, good night. I must be cruel, only to be kind. Thus bad begins, and worse remains behind. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
Not this, by no means, that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed. Pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him for a pair of reachy kisses, or paddling in your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you let him know. For who that's but a queen, fair, sober, wise, would from a paddock, from a bat, a jib, such dear concernings hide? Who would do so? No, in despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket on the house's top, let the birds fly, and like the famous ape, to try conclusions in the basket creep, and break your own neck down.
Be thou assured, may words be made of breath and breath of life. I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
I must to England. You know that?
Alack, I had forgot 'tis so concluded on.
There's letters sealed, and my 2 schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will adders fanged, they bear the mandate. They must sweep my way and marshal me to knavery. Let it work. For 'tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own petard, and shall go hard, but I will delve 1 yard below their mines and blow them at the moon. Oh, 'tis most sweet when in 1 line 2 crafts directly meet. This man shall set me packing. I'll lug the guts into the naval room. Mother, good night. Indeed, this counselor is now most still, most secret, and most grave, that was in life a foolish, prating knave. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, Mother.
There's matter in these sighs, these profound heaves, you must translate. 'Tis fit we understand them. Where's your son?
Oh, mine own lord, what have I seen tonight?
What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet?
Mad as the seas and wind when both contend, which is the mightier. In his lawless fit behind the arras, hearing something stir, whips out his rapier, cries a rat, and in this brainish apprehension kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed. It had been so with us, had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all, to you yourself, to us, to everyone. Alas, how shall this bloody deed be answered? It will be laid to us, whose providence should have kept short, restrained, and out of haunt this mad young man. But so much was our love, we would not understand what was most fit, but like the owner of a foul disease, to keep it from divulging, lets it feed, even on the pith of life. Where's he gone?
To draw apart the body he has killed, or whom his very madness, like some ore among a mineral of metal space, shows itself pure. He weeps for what is done.
Oh, Gertrude, come away. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will ship him hence. And this vile deed we must, with all our majesty and skill, both countenance and excuse. Ho, Guildenstern!
My lord?
Friends both, go join you with some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. I pray you haste in this. Come, Gertrude. We'll call up our wisest friends to let them know both what we mean to do and what's untimely done. So haply slander, whose whisper all the world's diameter, as level as the cannon to its blank transports his poisoned shot, may miss our name and hit the woundless air. Oh, come away. My soul is full of discord and dismay.
Safely stowed.
Hamlet! Hamlet! What, Hamlet?
What noise?
Hamlet!
Who calls on Hamlet? Here they come.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust, whereto 'tis kin.
Tell us where 'tis, that we may take it thence and bear it to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not mine own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge, what replication should be made by the son of a king?
Take you me for a sponge, my lord?
Aye, sir, that soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities. But such officers do the king best service in the end. He keeps them like an ape in the corner of his jaw, first mouthed, to be last swallowed, and when he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you, and sponged you shall be dry again.
I understand you not, my
I'm
lord.
glad of it. A knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear.
My lord, you must tell us where the body is and go with us to the king.
The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
A thing, my lord?
Of nothing. Bring me to him.
Hide, fox! and all after.
I have sent to seek him and to find the body. How dangerous is it that this man goes loose? Yet must not we put the strong law on him? He is loved of the distracted multitude who like not in their judgment but their eyes. And where 'tis so, the offender's scourge is weighed, but never the offence. To bear all smooth and even, in the sudden sending him away must seem deliberate pause. Disease is desperate grown, by desperate appliance are relieved, or not at all. How now, what hath befallen?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
But where is he?
Without, my lord, guarded to know your pleasure.
Bring him before us.
Ho, Guildenstern, bring in my lord.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
At supper.
At supper where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are e'en at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar is but variable service, 2 dishes but to 1 table. That's the end.
Alas, alas.
A man may fish with the worm that hath eat of a king, and eat of the fish that hath fed of that worm.
What dost thou mean by this?
Nothing, but to show you how a king may go a progress through the guts of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven. Send thither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. But indeed, if you find him not within this month, you shall nose him as you go upstairs into the lobby.
Go seek him there.
He will stay till he come.
Hamlet, this deed for thine especial safety, which we do tender, as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. The bark is ready and the wind at help. The associates tend and everything is bent for England.
For England?
Aye, Hamlet.
Good.
So is it, if thou knewest our purposes.
I see a cherub that sees them. But come, for England. Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh. And so, my mother. Come, for England.
Follow him at foot. Tempt him with speed aboard. Delay it not, I'll have him hence tonight. Away, for everything is sealed and done that else leans on the affair. Pray you make haste. And England, if my love thou hold'st at aught, as my great power thereof may give thee sense, since yet thy cicatrice looks raw and red after the Danish sword, and thy free oar pays homage to us, thou mayst not coldly set our sovereign process, which imports at full by letters conjuring to that effect the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England, for like the hectic in my blood he rages, and thou must cure me till I know 'tis done, howe'er my haps, my joys whene'er begun.
Go, Captain, from me greet the Danish king. Tell him that by his license, Fortinbras craves the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom. You know the rendezvous. If that his majesty would aught with us, we shall express our duty in his eye, and let him know, sir.
I will do it, my lord.
Go softly on.
Good sir, whose powers are those?
They are of Norway, sir.
A purpose, sir, I pray you.
Against some part of Poland.
Who commands them, sir?
The nephew to old Norway, Fortinbras.
Goes it against the main of Poland, sir, or for some frontier?
Truly to speak, and with no addition, we go to gain a little patch of ground that hath in it no profit but the name. Pay 5 ducats 5, I would not farm it. Nor will it yield to Norway or the Pole a ranker rate should it be sold in fee.
Why, then the Polak never will defend it.
Yes, it's already garrisoned.
2,000 souls and 20,000 ducats will not debate the question of this straw. This is the imposthume of much wealth and peace that inward breaks, and shows no cause without why the man dies. I humbly thank you, sir.
God buy you, sir.
Will't please you go, my lord?
Have it with you straight. Go a little before. How all occasions do inform against me, and spur my dull revenge. What is a man, if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A beast no more. Sure he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to fust in us unused? Now whether it be bestial oblivion, or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event, a thought which quartered hath but 1 part wisdom, and ever 3 parts coward, I do not know why yet I live to say there's things to do, sith I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. Rightly to be great is not to stir without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honour's at the stake. How stand I then, that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep, while to my shame I see the imminent death of 20,000 men, that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds, fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough and continent to hide the slain. Oh, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody, or be nothing worth.
I will not speak with her.
She is importunate. Indeed, distract, her mood will needs be pitied.
What would she have?
She speaks much of her father. Says she hears there's tricks i' the world, and hems and beats her heart, spurns enviously at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is nothing, yet the unshaped use of it doth move the hearers to collection. They aim at it and botch the words up fit to their own thoughts, which as her winks and nods and gestures yield them, indeed would make one think there might be thought, though nothing sure, yet much unhappily.
'Twere good she was spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds.
Let her come in. To my sick soul, as sin's true nature is, each toy seems prologue to some greater miss. So full of artless jealousy is guilt, it spills itself in fearing to be spilled.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
How now, Ophelia?
How should I your true love know from another one? By his cockle hat and star.
Alas, sweet lady.
And his sandal shoe.
What imports this song?
Say you? Nay, pray you mark. He is dead and gone, lady. He is dead and gone. At his head a gross green turf. At his heels a
Nay, but Ophelia.
stone. Pray you mark. White his shroud as the mountain.
Alas, look here, my lord.
Loaded with sweet flowers, which bewept to the grave did go, with true love showers.
How do ye, pretty lady?
Well, God ild you. They say the owl was a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we are, but know not what we may be. God be at your table.
Conceit upon her father.
Pray you, let's have no words of this. But when they ask you what it means, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, all in the morning betime, and I am made at your window to be your Valentine. Then up he rose and donned his clothes, and up the chamber door.
Let in a maid that out a maid never departed more.
Pretty Ophelia.
Indeed, love. Without an oath, I'll make an end on't. By Gis and by Saint Charity, alack and fie for shame. Young men will do't if they come to't, by cock they are to blame. Quoth she, before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. So would I ha' done by yonder sun, and thou hadst not come to my bed.
How long has she been thus?
I hope all will be well. We must be patient, but I cannot choose but weep to think they should lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it, and so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night. Good night.
Follow her close. Give her good watch, I pray you.
My lord.
Oh, this is the poison of deep grief. It springs all from her father's death. Oh, Gertrude, Gertrude, when sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. First her father slain, next your son gone, and he most violent author of his own just remove. The people muddied, thick and unwholesome in their thoughts and whispers for good Polonius' death, and we have done but greenly in hugger-mugger to inter him. Poor Ophelia, divided from herself and her fair judgment, without the which we are pictures or mere beasts. Last, and as much containing as all these, her brother is in secret come from France, feeds on his wonder, keeps himself in clouds, and wants not buzzers to infect his ear with pestilent speeches of his father's death, wherein necessity of matter beggared will nothing stick our persons to arraign in ear and ear. Oh, my dear Gertrude, this, like to a murdering peace in many places, gives me superfluous death.
Alack, what noise is this?
Where are my switches? Let them guard the door. What's the matter?
Save yourself, my lord. The ocean, overpeering of his list, eats not the flats with more impetuous haste but young Laertes in a riotous head o'erbears your officers. The rabble call him lord, and as the world were now but to begin, antiquity forgot, custom not known, the ratifiers and props of every word they cry, choose we, Laertes shall be king. Caps, hands and tongues applauded to the clouds. Laertes shall be king. Laertes king.
How cheerfully on the false trail they cry, oh, this is counter, you false Danish god.
The doors are broke.
Where is this king, sirs? Stand you all without. I pray you, give me leave. I thank you. Keep the door. Oh, thou vile king! Give me my father!
Calmly, good Laertes.
That drop of blood that's calm proclaims me bastard! Cries cuckold to my father! Brands the harlot even here between the chaste unsmirched brow of my true mother!
What is the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude. Do not fear our person. There's such divinity doth hedge a king, that treason can but peep to what it would, acts little of his will. Tell me, Laertes, why thou art thus incensed. Let him go, Gertrude. Speak, man.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with. To hell allegiance, vows to the blackest devil, conscience and grace to the profoundest pit. I dare damnation. To this point I stand, that both the worlds I give to negligence, that come what comes, only I'll be revenged most truly for my father.
Who shall stay you?
My will, not all the world. And for my means I'll husband them so well, they shall go far with little.
Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your dear father's death, is strict in your revenge, that swoop stake you will draw both friend and foe, winner and loser?
None but his enemies.
Will you know them then?
To his good friends thus wide I'll ope my arms, and like the kind life-rendering pelican, repast them with my blood.
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman, that I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensibly in grief for it. It shall as level to your judgment peer as day does to your eye.
Anna, what noise is that?
Oh, heat dry up my brains.
tears 7 times salt burn out the sense and virtue of mine eye. By heaven, thy madness shall be paid by weight till our scale turns the beam. Oh, Rose of May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia. Oh, heavens! Is it possible a young maid's wit should be as mortal as an old man's life? Nature is fine in love, and where 'tis fine it sends some precious instance of itself after the thing it loves.
Very well, my dove.
Hadst thou thy wits, and didst persuade revenge, it could not move thus.
You must sing a downer, and you call him a downer. Oh, how the wheel becomes it. It is the false steward that stole his master's daughter.
This nothing's more than matter.
There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray, love, remember. And there is pansies. That's for thought.
A document in madness.
There's fennel for
thought
you.
and remembrance fitted.
And columbines. There's rue for you. And here's some for me. We may call it Herb of Grace of Sundays. Oh, you must wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they withered all when my father died. They say he made a good end. Poor body, sweet Robin, is all my joy.
Thought and affliction, passion, hell itself she turns to favor and to prettiness.
No, he is dead. On to my deathbed, he never will come again. His beard was white as snow, all flaxen was his power. He is gone, and we cast away none. Gramercy on his soul. And of all Christian souls, I pray God. God by you.
Do you see this, O God?
Laertes, I must commune with your grief, for you deny me right. Go but apart. Make choice of whom your wisest friends you will, and they shall hear and judge twixt you and me. If by direct or by collateral hand they find us touched, we will our kingdom give, our crown, our life, and all that we call ours to you in satisfaction. But if not, be you content to lend your patience to us, and we shall jointly labor with your soul to give it due content.
Let this be so. His means of death is obscure burial. No trophy, sword, nor hatchment o'er his bones. No noble right, nor formal ostentation cry to be heard as 'twere from heaven to earth. That I must call in question.
So you shall. And where the offense is, let the great axe fall. I pray you, go with me.
What are they that would speak with me?
Sailors, sir. They say they have letters for you.
Let them come in. I do not know from what part of the world I should be greeted if not from Lord Hamlet.
God bless you, sir.
Let him bless thee, too.
I shall, sir, and please him. There's a letter for you, sir. It comes from the ambassadors that was bound for England. If your name be Horatio, as I am led to know it is.
Horatio, when thou shalt have o'erlooked this, give these fellows some means to the king. They have letters for him. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate of very warlike appointment gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor. In the grapple, I boarded them. On the instant, they got clear of our ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy, but they knew what they did. I am to do a good turn for them. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much haste as thou wouldst fly death. I have words to speak in your ear, will make thee dumb, yet are they much too light for the ball of the matter. These good fellows will bring thee where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of them I have much to tell thee. Farewell. Either thou knowest thine Hamlet. Come, I will give you way for these your letters, and do it the speedier that you may direct me to him from whom you brought them.
must your conscience my acquittance seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend, sith you have heard, and with a knowing ear, that he which hath your noble father slain pursued my life.
It well appears. But tell me why you proceeded not against these feats, so crimeful and so capital in nature, as by your safety, wisdom, all things else you mainly were stirred up.
Oh, for two special reasons, which may to you perhaps seem much unsinewed, and yet to me they are strong. The queen, his mother, lives almost by his looks, and for myself, my virtue or my plague, be it either which, she is so conjunctive to my life and soul, that as the star moves not but in his sphere, I could not but by her. The other motive, why to a public count I might not go, is the great love the general gender bear him, who, dipping all his faults in their affection, would, like the spring that turneth wood to stone, convert his gyves to graces. So that my arrows, too slightly timbered for so loud a wind, would have reverted to my bow again, and not where I had aimed them.
And so have I a noble father lost, a sister driven into desperate terms, whose worth, if praises may go back against, or challenger and mount of all the age for her perfections. But my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps for that. You must not think that we are made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our beard be shook with danger and think it pastime. You shortly shall hear more. I loved your father, and we love ourselves, and that I hope will teach you to imagine. How now, what news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. This to your majesty, this to the queen.
From Hamlet? Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord, they say. I saw them not. They were given to me by Claudio. He received them of him that brought them.
Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasions of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet, what should this mean? Are all the rest come back, or is there some abuse? Or no such thing?
Know you the hand?
'Tis Hamlet's character, naked. And in a postscript here he says, alone. Can you advise me?
I'm lost in it, my lord. But let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thus didst thou.
If it be so, Laertes, as how should it be so? How otherwise? Will you be ruled by me?
If so, you'll not o'errule me to a peace.
To thine own peace. If he be now returned, as checking at his voyage, and that he means no more to undertake it, I will work him to an exploit now ripe in my device, under the which he shall not choose but fall, and for his death no wind of blame shall breathe, but even his mother shall uncharge the practice and call it accident.
My lord, I will be ruled, the rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ.
It falls right. You have been talked of since your travel much, and that in Hamlet's hearing, for a quality wherein they say you shine. Your sum of parts did not together pluck such envy from him as did that one, and that in my regard of the unworthiest siege.
What part is that, my lord?
A very riband in the cap of youth, yet needful too, for youth no less becomes the light and careless livery that it wears than settled age, his sables and his weeds, importing health and greatness. Some 2 months hence, here was a gentleman of Normandy. I've seen myself and served against the French, and they can well on horseback. But this gallant had witchcraft in't. He grew into his seat, and to such wondrous doing brought his horse as he had been encorpsed and demi-natured with the brave beast. So far he passed my thought that I in forgery of shapes and tricks come short of what he did.
A Norman, was it?
A Norman.
Upon my life, Lamond.
The very same.
I know him well. He is the brooch indeed, and gem of all the nation.
He made confession of you, and gave you such a masterly report for art and exercise in your defense, and for your rapier most especially, that he cried out, 'Twould be a sight indeed if one could match you. The scrimmers of their nation, he swore, had neither motion, guard, nor eye, if you opposed them. Sir, this report of his did Hamlet so envenom with his envy, that he could nothing do but wish and beg your sudden coming o'er to play with him. Now, out of this...
What out of this, my lord?
Laertes, was your father dear to you, or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
Well, I ask you this.
Not that I think you did not love your father, but that I know love is begun by time, and that I see in passages of proof time qualifies the spark and fire of it. There lives within the very flame of love a kind of wick or snuff that will abate it. And nothing is at alike goodness still, for goodness growing to a pleurisy dies in his own too much. That we would do, we should do when we would, for this would changes, and hath abatements and delays as many as there are tongues, are hands, are accidents. And then this should is like a spendthrift sigh that hurts by easing. But to the quick of the ulcer. Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself your father's son in deed, more than in words?
To cut his throat i' the church.
No place indeed should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds. But good Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet return shall know you are come home. We'll put on those shall praise your excellence and set a double varnish on the fame the Frenchman gave you. Bring you in fine together and wager on your heads. He, being remiss, most generous, and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that with ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and in a pass of practice requite it for your father.
I will do it. And for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank so mortal, that but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare collected from all simples that have virtue under the moon can save the thing from death that is but scratched withal. I'll touch my point with this contagion, that if I gall him slightly, it may be death.
Let's further think of this. Weigh what convenience both of time and means may fit us to our shape. If this should fail, and that our drift look through our bad performance, 'twere better not essayed. Therefore, this project should have a back or second that might hold if this should blast in proof. Soft, let me see. We'll make a solemn wager on your cunnings. I have it. When in your motion you are hot and dry, as make your bouts more violent to that end, and that he calls for drink, I'll have prepared him a chalice for the nonce, whereon, but sipping, if he by chance escape your venom stuck, our purpose may hold there. How now, sweet queen?
One woe doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Oh, where?
There is a willow grows aslant the brook that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There with fantastic garlands did she come of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples, that liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. There on the pendant boughs her coronet weeds clambering to hang, an envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas, then, she is drowned.
Drowned.
Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. Yet it is our trick. Nature her custom holds, let shame say what it will. When these are gone, the woman will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly doubts it.
Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now fear I this will give it start again. Therefore let's follow.
Is she to be buried in Christian burial, that wilfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is. Therefore make her grave straight. The crowner hath sat on her and finds it Christian burial.
How can that be? Unless she drowned herself in her own defence.
Why, it is found so.
Oh, it must be si offendendo. Cannot be else. I realise the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act, and an act hath three branches. It is to act, to do, and to perform, our gal. She drowned herself wittingly.
Nay, but here, you goodman Delver.
Give me leave. Now, here lies the water. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Here stands the man. Good. Oh. Now, if the man go to this water and drown himself, it is willy-nilly he goes, mark you that.
Aye.
But if the water comes to him and drown him, he drowns on himself. Our gal, he that is not guilty of his own death, shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
Aye. Marriest, Crowner's quest law.
Will you have the truth on't? If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out of Christian burial.
Why, there thou sayest. And the more pity that great folk should have countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves more than they're even Christian. Come, my spade. There be no ancient gentlemen, but gardeners, ditchers, and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession.
Was he a gentleman?
He was the first that ever bore arms.
Oh, he had none.
What, art a heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says Adam digged. Could he dig without arms?
Oh.
Now, I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the point, confess thyself.
Go to.
Now, what is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
Oh. The gallows maker. For that frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thy wit well, in good faith. The gallows does well. But how does it well? It does well to those that do ill. Now, thou dost ill to say that the gallows is built stronger than the church. Our gal, the gallows may do well to thee. Do it again, come.
Who builds stronger than a mason, a shipwright, or a carpenter?
Aye, tell me that and unyoke.
Marry, now I can tell.
Toot?
Oh, mass, I cannot tell.
Cudgel thy brains no more about it, for your dull ass will not mend his pace with beating. And when you are asked this question next, say, a grave maker. The houses that he makes last till doomsday.
Oh.
Go, get thee to yawn. Fetch me a stib of liquor.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business that he sings at grave-making?
Custom has made it in him a property of easiness.
'Tis e'en so, the hand of little employment hath the daintiest sense.
With his stealing steps,
That skull had a tongue in it, and could sing once. How the knave jowls it to the ground as if 'twere Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. It might be the pate of a politician which this ass now o'erreaches. One that would circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or of a courtier which could say, "Good morrow, sweet lord, how dost thou, good lord?" This might be my lord such-a-one that praised my lord such-a-one's horse when he meant to beg it, might it not?
Aye, my lord.
Why, e'en so. And now my lady worms, chapless and knocked about the mazzard with a sexton's spade. Here's fine revolution, and we had the trick to see it. Did these bones cost no more the breeding but to play at loggerts with them? Mine ache to think on. There's another. Why might not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quillets now? His quillets, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks. Why does he suffer this rude knave now to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel and will not tell him of his action of battery? This fellow might be in his time a great buyer of land, with his statutes, his recognizances, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries. Is this the fine of his fines and the recovery of his recoveries, to have his fine pate full of fine dirt?
But his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases, and double ones too, than the length and breadth of a pair of indentures. The very conveyances of his lands will hardly lie in this box. And must the inheritor himself have no more, huh?
Not a jot more, my lord.
Is not parchment made of sheepskins?
Aye, my lord, and of calfskins too.
They are sheep and calves that seek out assurance in that. I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave is this, sir?
Mine, sir.
I think it be thine, indeed, for thou liest in it.
You lie out on, sir. Therefore it is not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it. Yet it is mine.
Let us lie in it to be in it, and say it is thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. Pull away again, from me to you.
What man dost thou dig for?
For no man, sir.
What woman, then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is. We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, this 3 years I've taken note of it, the age has grown so picked that the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of our courtier, he galls his kibe. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Oh, of all the days in the year, I came to it that day that our last King Hamlet-Paul came Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Oh, every fool can tell that. 'Twas the very day young Hamlet was born. Eh? He that is mad and sent into England.
I marry. Why was he sent into England?
Why? Because he was mad. He shall recover his wits there, or if he do not, 'tis no great matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. There the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, e'en with losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark. I've been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lie o' the earth ere he rot?
I' faith, if he be not rotten before he dies. As we have many pocky courses nowadays as I will scarce hold the lane in. Will last you some 8 year or 9 year. A tanner will last you 9 year.
Why he, more than another?
Why, sir? He's hardly so tam with his trade. I will keep up water a great while, and your water is a sore decayer of your horse and dead body. Here's a skull now. This skull has lain in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
Horse and mad fellows it was. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him for a mad rogue. I poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. Whoosh! This same skull, sir. This skull was Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
This?
Even that.
Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times. And now how abhorred in my imagination it is, my gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now? Your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar. Not one now to mock your own grinning, quite chop-fallen. Now get you to my lady's chamber, and tell her let her paint an inch thick to this favour she must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked to this fashion of the earth?
E'en so.
And smelled so,
E'en so, my lord.
To what base uses we may return, Horatio? Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole?
Too curiously to consider so.
No, faith, not a jot, but to follow him thither with modesty enough and likelihood to lead it. As thus Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returneth into dust. The dust is earth, of earth we make loam, and why of that loam whereto he was converted might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperial Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that that earth which kept the world in awe should patch a wall to expel the winter's flaw.
But soft aside. Here comes the king, the queen, the courtiers. Who is it that they follow, and with such maimed rites? This doth betoken the course they followed it with desperate hand fordo its own life. 'Twas of some estate. Couch we a while, and mark.
What ceremony else?
That is Laertes, a very noble youth. Mark.
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we have warranties. Her death was doubtful, and, but that great command o'ersways the order, she should in ground unsanctified have lodged till the last trumpet. For charitable prayer, shards, flints, and pebbles should be thrown on her. Yet here she is allowed her virgin rites, her maiden struments, and the bringing home of bell and burial.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. We should profane the service of the dead to sing sage requiem and such rest to her as to peace-parted souls.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling.
What? The fair Ophelia?
Sweets to the sweet, farewell. I hoped thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid, and not have strewed thy grave.
Oh, treble woeful, 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of! Hold off the earth a while, till I have caught her once more in mine arms. Now pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made to o'ertop old pillion, or the sky shed a blue Olympus.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis? Whose face of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like wonder-wounded heroes? This is I, Hamlet the Dane.
The devil take thy soul!
Face not well. But will thee take thy fingers from my throat? So though I am not splenitive and rash, yet have I something in me dangerous, which let thy wiseness fear. Away thy hand!
Back to the asunder! Good my lord, be quiet!
I will fight with him upon this theme until mine eyelids will no longer wag.
My son, what theme?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not with all their quantity of love make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
Oh, he is mad, Laertes.
For love of God, forbear him.
Come, show me what thou do, would weep, would fight, would fast, would tear thyself, would drink up easel, eat a crocodile, I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me with leaping in her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I. And if thou pray to mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us, till our ground, singeing his pate against the burning zone, make Ossa like a wart. Nay, in thou mouth, I'll rant as well as thou.
This is mere madness. Thus a while the fit will work on him. Anon, as patient as the female dove, when that her golden couplets are disclosed, his silence will sit drooping.
Hear you, sir. What is the reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever. But it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, and dog will have his day.
I pray you, good Horatio, wait upon him. Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Till then, in patience, our proceeding be.
So much for this, sir. Now shall you see the other. You do remember all the circumstance?
Remember it, my lord.
So in my heart there was a kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. Methought I lay worse than the mutins in the bilboes. Rashly, and praise be rashness for it, let us know our indiscretion sometimes serves us well when our deep plots do pall. And that should teach us there's a divinity that shapes our ends, rough hew them how we will.
This is most certain.
Up from my cabin, my sea gown scarfed about me in the dark, groped I to find out them, had my desire, fingered their packet, and in fine withdrew to mine own room again, making so bold, my fears forgetting manners, to unseal their grand commission, where I found Horatio, O royal knavery, an exact command larded with many several sorts of reasons, importing Denmark's health and England's too. With, oh, such bugs and goblins in my life that on the supervise, no leisure bated, no not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head should be struck off.
Is possible?
Is the commission. Read it at more leisure. But wilt thou hear me how I did proceed?
I beseech you.
Being thus benetted round with villains, ere I could make a prologue to my brains, they had begun the play. I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. I once did hold it as our statists do, a baseness to write fair, and laboured much how to forget that learning. But, sir, now it did me yeoman's service. Wilt thou know the effects of what I wrote?
Aye, good my lord.
An earnest conjuration from the king. As England was his faithful tributary, as love between them as the palm should flourish, as peace should still her wheaten garland wear, and stand a comma tween their amities, and many such like as is of great charge, that on the view and know of these contents, without debatement further, more or less, he should the bearers put to sudden death, not shriving time allowed.
How was this sealed?
Why, even in that was heaven ordinate. I had my father's signet in my purse, which was the model of that Danish seal, folded the writ up in the form of the other, subscribed it, gave the impression, placed it safely, the changeling never known. Now the next day was our sea fight, and what to this was sequent thou knowest already.
So Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go too?
Aye, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow. 'Tis dangerous when the baser nature comes between the pass and fell insensate points of mighty opposites.
Why, what a king is this?
Does it not, thinks thee, stand me now upon? He that hath killed my king and whored my mother, popped in between the election and my hopes, thrown out his angle for my proper life, and with such cousinage, is not perfect conscience to quit him with this arm, and is not to be damned to let this canker of our nature come in further evil?
It must be shortly known to him from England. What is the issue of the business there?
It will be short. The interim's mine, and a man's life's no more than to say one. But I am very sorry, good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself. For by the image of my cause I see the portraiture of his. I'll court his favours. But sure the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion.
Peace, who comes here?
Your lordship is right welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir. Dost know this waterfly?
Oh, my good lord.
My state is the more gracious for 'tis a vice to know him. He hath much land and fertile, that a beast be lord of beasts, and his crib shall stand at the king's mess. 'Tis a chuff, but as I say, spacious in the possession of dirt.
Sweet lord, if your friendship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I will receive it with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to its right use. 'Tis for the head.
I thank your lordship. It is very hot.
No, believe me, it's very cold. The wind is northerly.
It is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
Methinks it's very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly, my lord. It is very sultry, as 'twere. Cannot tell how. But, my lord, his majesty bade me signify to you that he has laid a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter.
I beseech you, remember.
Nay, in good faith, for mine ease in good faith. Sir, here is newly come to court Laertes, believe me, an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, of very soft society, and great showing. Indeed, to speak feelingly of him, he is the card or calendar of gentry, for you shall find in him the continent of what part a gentleman would see.
Sir, his definement suffers no perdition in you, though I know to divide him inventorially would dizzy the arithmetic of memory, and yet but yaw neither in respect of his quick sale, but in the verity of extolment. I take him to be a soul of great article, and his infusion of such dearth and rareness as to make true diction of him. His semblable is his mirror, and who else would trace him? His umbrage, nothing more.
Your lordship speaks most infallibly of him.
The consonancy, sir. Why do we wrap the gentleman in our more raw breath?
Sir?
It's not possible to understand in another tongue. You'll toot, sir, really.
What imports the nomination of this gentleman?
Of Laertes?
His purse is empty already. All's golden words are spent.
Of him, sir?
I know you are not ignorant.
I would you did, sir, yet if either of you did it would not much approve me. Well, sir?
You are not ignorant of what excellence Laertes is.
I dare not confess that, lest I should compare with him in excellence. But to know a man well were to know himself.
I mean, sir, for his weapon. But in the imputation laid on him by them in his mead, he's unfellowed.
What's his weapon?
Rapier and dagger.
That's two of his weapons, but well.
The king, sir, has wagered with him 6 Barbary horses, against the which he imponed, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards, with their assigns as girdle hangers or so. 3 of the carriages, in faith, are very dear to fancy, very responsive to the hilts, most delicate carriages, and of very liberal conceit.
What call you the carriages?
I knew you must be edified by the margent ere you had done.
The carriages, sir, are the hangers.
The phrase would be more germane to the matter if we could carry cannon by our sides. I would it might be hangers till then. But on, 6 Barbary horses against 6 French swords, their assigns and 3 liberal conceited carriages. That's the French bet against the Danish. Why is this imponed, as you call it?
The king, sir, hath laid that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. He hath laid on 12 for 9. And it would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
How if I answer no?
I mean, my lord, the opposition of your person in trial.
Sir, I will walk here in the hall. If it please his majesty, it is the breathing time of day with me. Let the foils be brought, the gentleman willing, and the king hold his purpose. I will win for him, if I can. If not, I will gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits.
Shall I redeliver you in so?
To this effect, sir, after what flourish your nature will.
I commend my duty to your lordship.
Yours, yours. He does well to commend it himself. There are no tongues else for his turn.
This lapwing runs away with a shell on his head.
He did comply with his dug before he sucked it. Thus is he and many more of the same bevy that I know the drossy age dotes on, only got the tune of the time, and out of a habit of encounter, a kind of yesty collection which carries them through and through the most fanned and winnowed opinions, and do but blow them to their trials. The bubbles are out.
My lord, his majesty commended him to you by young Osric, who brings back to him that you attend him in the hall. He sends to know if your pleasure hold to play with Laertes, or that you will take longer time.
I am constant to my purposes. They follow the king's pleasure. If his fitness speaks, mine is ready, now or whensoever, provided I be so able as now.
The king and queen and all are coming down.
In happy time.
The queen desires you to use some gentle entertainment, Laertes, before you fall to play.
She well instructs me.
My lord.
You will lose this wager, my lord.
I do not think so. Since he went into France, I've been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds. But thou wouldst not think how ill all's here about my heart. But 'tis no matter.
Nay, good my lord.
It is but foolery. But is such a kind of gain-giving as would perhaps trouble a woman.
If your mind dislike anything, obey. I will forestall their repair hither and say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There is special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. Since no man has aught of what he leaves, what is to leave betimes? Let be.
Take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I've done you wrong, but pardoned, as you are a gentleman. This presence knows, and you must needs have heard, how I am punished with a sore distraction. What I have done that might your nature, honor, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Was Hamlet wrong Laertes? Never Hamlet. If Hamlet from himself be ta'en away, and when he's not himself does wrong Laertes, then Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. Who does it then? His madness. If it be so, Hamlet is of the faction that is wrong. His madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming from a purposed evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts that I have shot mine arrow o'er the house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature, whose motive in this case should stir me most to my revenge. But in my terms of honor, I stand aloof, and will no reconcilement till by some elder masters of known honor I have a voice and precedent of peace to keep my name on God. But till that time, I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I do embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Give us the foils. Come on.
Come, one for me.
I'll be your foil, Laertes. In mine ignorance, your skill shall like a star the darkest night stick fiery off indeed.
You mock me, sir?
No, by this hand.
Give them the foils, young Osric. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager.
Very well, my lord. Your grace hath laid the odds to the weaker side.
I do not fear it. I have seen you both. But since he is bettered, we have therefore odds.
It is too heavy. Let me see another.
This likes me well. These foils have all the length.
Aye, my good lord.
Set me the stoups of wine upon that table. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, or quit in answer of the third exchange, let all the battlements their ordnance fire. The king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup a union shall he throw, richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. Give me the cups, and let the kettle to the trumpet speak, the trumpet to the cannoneer without, the cannons to the heavens, the heaven to earth. Now the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin. And you, the judges, bear a wary eye.
Come on, sir.
Come, my lord.
No judgment!
A hit! A very palpable hit.
Well,
again.
Stay. Give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health. Give him the cup.
I'll pay this bout first. Set it by a while. Come. Another hit. What say you?
A touch, I do confess.
Our son shall win.
He's fat and scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin, rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Good, madam.
Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord, I pray you, pardon me.
It is the poison cup. It is too late.
I dare not drink yet, madam, by and by.
Come, let me wipe thy face.
My lord, I'll hit him now.
I do not think it.
And yet it is almost against my conscience.
Come for the third, Laertes. You do but dally. I pray you pass with your best violence. I'm afraid you may go wanton of me.
Say you so? Come on.
Nothing, neither way.
How do you know? Oh, have them, they are incensed. Nay, come again.
Oh.
Plead there, how?
They plead on both sides. How is my lord?
How is Laertes?
As a woodcock to mine own springe, Osric. I am justly killed with mine own treachery.
How does the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
No, no, the drink, the drink. My dear Hamlet, the drink, the drink. I am poisoned.
Oh, villainy! How? Let the door be locked. Treachery! Seek it out!
Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee there is not half an hour of life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand, unbaited and envenomed. The foul practice hath turned itself on me. Lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poisoned. I can no more. The king's to blame.
The point envenomed too.
Then, venom, do thy work.
Yet defend me, friends, I am but hurt.
Here thou incestuous, murderous, damned Dane, drink off this potion. Is thy union here? Follow my mother.
He is justly served. It is a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my father's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me.
Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee. I am dead, Horatio. Wretched queen, adieu. You that look pale and tremble at this chance, that are but mutes or audience to this act, had I but time, as this fell sergeant Death is strict in his arrest, oh, I could tell you. But let it be. Horatio, I am dead, thou livest. Report me and my cause aright to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I'm more an antique Roman than a Dane. Here's yet some liquor left.
Is that a man? Give me the cup. Let go, by heaven, I'll have it. Oh, good Horatio, what a wounded name things standing thus unknown shall live behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. What warlike noise is this?
The young Fortinbras, with conquest come from Poland to the ambassadors of England, gives this warlike volley.
Oh, I die, Horatio. The potent poison quite o'ercrows my spirit. I cannot live to hear the news from England, but I do prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice, so tell him with the occurrence more and less which have solicited. The rest is silence.
Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. And flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Why does the drum come hither?
Where is the sight?
What is it you would see? If aught of woe or wonder cease your search.
This quarry cries on havoc. Oh, proud death, what feast is toward in thine eternal cell, that thou so many princes at a shot so bloodily hast struck?
The sight is dismal, and our affairs from England come too late. The ears are senseless that should give us hearing. To tell him his commandment is fulfilled, that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Where should we have our thanks?
Not from his mouth. Had it the ability of life to thank you, he never gave commandment for their death. But since so jump upon this bloody question, you from the Polack wars, and you from England are here arrived. Give order that these bodies high on a stage be placed to the view. And let me speak to the yet unknowing world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cunning and forced cause, and in this upshot, purposes mistook, fallen on the inventors' heads. All this can I truly deliver.
Let us haste to hear it, and call the noblest to the audience. For me, with sorrow I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory in this kingdom, which now to claim my vantage doth invite me.
Of that I shall have also cause to speak, and from his mouth, whose voice will draw no more. But let this same be presently performed, even while men's minds are wild, lest some mischance on plots and errors happen.
Let 4 captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage, for he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royally. And for his passage, the soldier's music and the rites of war speak loudly for him. Take up the bodies. Such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Go. Bid the soldiers shoot.